मुक्तिमुक्तिप्रदाता च तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अनेकजन्मसम्प्राप्त कर्मबन्धविदाहिने आत्मज्ञानप्रदानेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। शोषणं भवसिन्धोश्च ज्ञापनं सारसम्पदः गुरोः पादोदकं सम्यक् तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। न गुरोरधिकं तत्त्वं न गुरोरधिकं तपः तत्त्वज्ञानात् परं नास्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मन्नाथ श्रीजगन्नाथः मद्गुरुः श्रीजगद्गुरुः मदात्मा सर्वभूतात्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुरादिरनादिश्च गुरुः परमदैवतं गुरोः परतरं नास्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। स्थानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव। These two left over from yesterday, we will do that first. What are the different sub-schools of thought within Advaita Vedanta? Which sub-school do we ascribe to in Arsha Vidya? Not really sub-schools. Different small differences will be there. The primary, the two we have discussed. One is the Bhamati and the other one is Vivarana. Vivarana way of thinking about Advaita only. Few differences will be there. Mainly, where is Avidya located? So the Bhamati people will say Avidya is located where? In the Jiva. Because Brahman is what? All knowledge. And what do we say? We belong to what? Vivarana school. And then what will we say? Avidya, ignorance is where? Brahmashraya, not Jivashraya. Brahmashraya. Ignorance, because ignorance is not really there, it's as though. So ignorance is Brahmashraya. They say ignorance is what? Jivashraya. Then the second thing is this, that we generally, the people who follow Adi Shankara and Adi Shankara himself, out of those two theories, preferred the Pratibimbavada. Pratibimbavada in the Vivarana school, and then Avachedavada in the, what's its name? Bhamati school. Then the Bhamati school also differentiates between different kinds of avidya. They say Moola avidya Atma Ajnanam, Karana Sharira Sthitam, etc. And then and then they say Tula Avidya, ignorance of various objects. Subject ignorance and object ignorance, they make a difference. We say if ignorance is mithya, ultimately non-existent thing, you don't start dividing it into many more things. What's the point? So these are some of the big differences, okay, in the ways. But yeah, that is there. This was also from yesterday. 1, 2, 3, 3.1. Okay, let us see. We study sentences like, the mind is not perfect, thank God I am not the mind. The mind is an object, it is inert like the body, etc. So the same way that the jnani's body can get sick, the same can happen to the mind. Yes, absolutely. How does the jnani deal with the limitations of the mind? Because, see, first of all, body can get sick, mind can also get sick. Age-related, what is that? Cognitive decline, limitations may be there. And these days, everybody is, talking a lot about dementia because the cases are increasing because of UPF. What is UPF? Ultra processed foods. Yes. What is an ultra processed food? Anything that has more than 3 ingredients. When you read ingredients, it should have 3 ingredients or maybe at the most 5 ingredients. So if we are eating things that have more than 5 ingredients, which is everyone's lifestyle, because to make things palatable, tasty, it has to have what? Lots of salt, or it has to have lots of sugar, and then it has to be in certain kind of shapes. To maintain that shape, if you make something at home and then try to make it into a triangular shape, it will not stay. But then they put all these gums and things to make it into some kind of a octagonal shape and all these things. And so like this, our waters are polluted, our air quality is gone, forests are going, and all this is contributing to new kinds of challenges. So then that leads us to the question, if the jnani gets dementia, what will happen? Nothing will happen. The knowledge is not disturbed. The broadcasting of the knowledge may be disturbed because that is where the knowledge is manifest, where? In the mind. And so the mind, if it is disturbed, the broadcasting of the knowledge is disturbed. I told you about the another co-Mahatma of Pujya Swamiji. I told you about the story of that Swami. And so like that, the person will live without a care. So that is the idea. So that is not the thing. Is there any emotion that the jnani does not have? We can safely say, this is an interesting question, we can say that we are not trying to, in Vedanta, you are not trying to not have emotions. That would be, like this, you will be like that. You have won the lottery ticket. Samatvam yogaha uchyate. Somebody died. Same thing. That's not the point. It's not, we are not into Atma Jnanam to have a flat effect. That means something is wrong. Yes, something is definitely wrong. So, we are not afraid of emotions. We are not trying to suppress the emotion or eliminate emotions. The point here is to not get carried away by the emotions, to have the emotions in my hand so that I can enjoy them. At least some of them, not all of them are enjoyable. Some of them I can enjoy. So that, but if they start to kidnap me and hijack me, then that means one is not a jnani. If one is a jnani, then there will be, we can say, well, what emotions will not be there. It is easy to give a pat answer and say, oh, there should not be any fear, there should not be any sorrow if one is a jnani. But then we saw in the whole nididhyasana section, all the previous samskaras that are still there, and then, so therefore, instead of making kind of these blanket statements, and even though it's tempting to just sort of have a categorical approach and say, jnani should be fear-free, jnani should be sorrow-free. I mean, that is correct. It's ideal also. But it's a more nuanced response to this question would be that if fear strikes, they will not be carried away. If some kind of a sorrowful thing happens, they will not be afflicted so much that they are not able to do their things and whatnot. So, this is how it is. And in the life of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, one story was recorded by somebody, and it is told that one of his devotees was in labor and she was admitted to the hospital, and then the news came that she had a baby boy. And then the news came from the hospital, and Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi got up from the bed and clapped his hands and then sat down again, very happy, and then made a very, smiled, laughed. And then half an hour later, another sad news came that somehow, because of some hemorrhaging or something like that, they could not save her. She passed away. And then he became very still, and then they say one tear came and rolled down the cheek, and then after that he became all right. So this is the idea. The idea is not that one become flat and then there is a new pressure. What is it? I am a jnani, I shouldn't have feelings. Then that's another pressure. So it is more about spontaneity. It's more about greeting life in the moment, however it is moment by moment by moment by moment. And it is about being alive to all the realities, even to one's own pratibhasika, which is of course reduced because of Atmajnanam, almost eliminated. Even to one's own pratibhasika, one is alive. One is alive to see that, okay, this could be a subjective thing and I'm not going here. One is alive to all the realities. And one is alive to the Jagat, one is alive to the people in it. Why? Because it's all Bhagavan, it is all Ishvara. That's why. So, once I heard that the knowledge shines in darkness, maybe meaning that we can see better the power of knowledge in difficult moments. Okay, all right, next one. Yeah, because that's not a question, it's just a statement. How does the knowledge make the jnani not to suffer, even when he, don't keep saying he, this is my suggestion. Yeah, because we are living in what? 2025, almost 2026. All right, so we say he or she. All right, even when sees a mind that, even when the jnani sees a mind that he or she cannot handle. What does it mean to have the mind under control? Is it possible? Like, how does the jnani surf the wave of sadness? Or does this type of situation not happen? Okay, so now, how does the knowledge make the jnani not suffer? Because, simple, very simple. The jnani will not suffer because the satyam mithya division is very, very well understood. That grief is mithya. Grieving is mithya. And for that matter, death for which we are grieving is also what? Mithya. Why? Because the I is not subject to death. But and then so, like this, there is the Satyam Mithya difference is very well understood by the Vedantin who has Atma Jnanam. All this is Mithya. Mithya doesn't mean false. What does Mithya mean? Dependent reality. Dependent on what? Sat. Satyam alone. So wherever there is Mithya, Mithya cannot exist without what? Satyam. Satyam can exist without Mithya. This we have to know. And so, when we have Pramana Buddhi in the Shastra, when we see the Shastra, the teachings of the Upanishad and the Bhagavad Gita as a refuge for the sorrow, for the pain, and after a time of exposure to this knowledge in this way, the commitment to the Shastra is 100%. The commitment to the Pramana is 100%. And so, even if a big wave of sorrow comes, the boat of the Jnani does not capsize, does not turn ulta, upside down. So, the Jnani's boat still, maybe it will go under a little bit because a big wave, but then comes up again. And so, it's not that difficult situations will not come for a Jnani. Seeing the last months of Pujya Swamiji's life, no one can say that difficult situations do not befall a Jnani. Oh, so many operations towards the end, so many things. Oh, goodness. It was very hard to watch. Watch him walk, watch him talk, watch him be breathless, and all this. But he was at peace because even though sometimes he would cry out in pain, it was just a response to the physical pain. He was not in pain and we could see that. Anybody who went to see him, they would be, he instead of them asking, "How are you doing, Swamiji?" he would ask, "How are you doing? What is happening? Tell me everything." This is how the Jnani's life is. So the sorrow may come, difficult situations may come, but the Jnani overrides them with the power of this knowledge, because the Jnani is very, very sure, I am not this emotion, I am not this challenge. What am I? Satchidananda. That is very, very clear. If I play the role of a householder or dependent, even the thought of I understand that it will end someday and that it does not give happiness, when the karma ends, I should be able to overcome and welcome the emotions free, not shut them down, because if I shut them down, I will run away from my humanity. You got that right. Correct. Yes, don't shut down the emotions. Find safe outlets where you don't target or hurt yourself, and at the same time you don't target or hurt others. Yes. How to find this place where I play this role of pain without suffering? Exactly. So you understand this, and then it becomes very, very easy. That the role is me, but I am not the role. Role is me. Role cannot, like the begging person is not there. independent of the actor. So, role of father, role of husband, role of mother, role of spouse, wife, all this is what? Is because the person is playing the roles. The role cannot exist independently of the person, but the person exists what? Free of the role. The role does not roll on to the person. This we have to remember. Because I am not the role. So, any role you take. So, even if you take role of student, 3-month course student, very good student I am, and then what? I go to sleep. Where? In the class, of course. That's where the best sleep comes. And then I sleep in the class. Then what? What happened to the role? What? I am Satchidananda. Correct? No role. Forget student, then the student would not be just playing student's role. The student is somebody's son or daughter, somebody's grandson or granddaughter, somebody's sister or brother. All the roles are gone in sleep. No role. And so what is the truth? The truth is you can populate many roles as consciousness, awareness, samvit populates as it were many roles, but then you are not any one role. This we have to really understand this. Otherwise the role rolls on to the person. I once went to one bhiksha with Pujya Swamiji to a policeman's house. And then there we saw children and the wife. The policeman had yet to come from the office. We were there a little early. And then as we are waiting to come, we heard the vehicle, jeep. And then a strange thing happened. All the children, the mother said, "Father is coming, father is coming." And all the children went and hid in the room somewhere, out of sight, totally, immediately. And the policeman came blowing his whistle for good measure. The family dog only was there to greet him. And my wife went off to the kitchen. And then, of course, myself, Swamiji, and a few other people with us, we were sitting. And he was very affable, greeted us. And, and then Swamiji suggested, "Why don't you change your clothes?" He was wearing uniform. "Why don't you change your clothes, be comfortable, and we are not in a hurry for lunch. We'll wait. We know duty calls. You please change your clothes." No, I like to be in this. I like to be like this, Swamiji. Okay. Then, the children who had been playing with Swamiji and talking to us and laughing, then the 3 children came out of the room for lunch. We could not recognize them. We thought they were some other children. They were all just, "Namaste, Father." Yes. Yes. And they all sat down. And then it was just, and then one child made some mistake, asked for something which it didn't want, and then changed the mind and said, no, whistle. Well, he had the whistle right there in the pocket. It is attached to the pocket. Fee! And that's how. So the lunch was very fraught with a lot of tension for the children. And the poor wife was encouraging the children and said, "Doesn't matter, you eat quickly and go back to your room. Don't be here." And then after the lunch was done, then Pujya Swamiji said, "I want to talk to this man alone." And then we all left the room, and afterwards I found out what Pujya Swamiji told him. Said that you are no longer a policeman. You have left that role where? At the office. As soon as you got out of the jeep, you are not a policeman. What are you? You are now father to these wonderful children. You are now husband to this wonderful wife. And you are now the wonderful person who has this lovely dog that you can pet. This is who you are. You are no longer that. And that's why I asked you to change your clothes. As soon as you come, you have to change your clothes. So that, because you seem to have a little trouble negotiating between these roles, so you have to at least make it a formal change of outfit so that you know, okay, now I am doing this. Oh, but people like discipline. And Swamiji said to him, have you seen the look on the faces of your children? They always look like that. I wonder why they are not smiling. Even when I bring them gifts for Deepavali, they are not smiling. And Swamiji said, you just play with them, don't worry. Oh, what if they get spoilt and they become robbers when they are... Don't worry, with you as the father, they will not become robbers when they grow up. Just let go. That is what we all have to do. That is what the Jnani does. That is what the Jnani does. And that's why the Jnani, wherever he or she is, in whichever continent, whosoever is the Jnani, becomes very delightful, becomes like the magnet for everybody else, because everybody wants to be like that, but they don't know how. That is why. So then, when we practice, along with the assimilation of this knowledge, we practice cheerfulness and spontaneity. We practice that. We make it a point, not to just get bogged down in the whatever roles has been assigned. I am a student. This is how I should be all the time. Yes. It's, be yourself. That is the idea. That is what the Jnani does. Okay. Yeah, that is this one. This is an interesting question. Listen. For how many years should I not speak a lie? So that whatever I say comes true. Satya Bhashanam. First is a tapas. Tapas means what? An austerity, a practice, a vrata, a vow. And then what happens is that growing into this Satyavak, or becoming a Satyavak, or becoming a truth sayer, after this practice, one becomes incapable of telling a lie. Even if you want to tell a lie, you cannot. Truth will come out. Even if you make a sankalpa to tell a lie, it will not come. Why? It has become one with you. Like Dasharatha. Kaikeyi, one of Dasharatha's wives, was a great charioteer, great lady, great diplomat, charioteer, all these things. Loved her husband dearly, drove the chariot in his scuffle, war with some kind of demonic-like beings who were usurping the kingdom and unleashing a reign of terror onto the people in the kingdom. So to vanquish them, he took the help of his wife. She not only drove the chariot, but saved him. When the axle of the chariot broke, she put her own finger in the hub of the wheel, holding the broken axle pieces together, and drove him literally to victory. Because if the chariot topples over, that's as good as losing the battle. He was so happy, he offered her 2 boons. For driving the chariot so adeptly, and then the other one was for saving the battle and giving him a victory. And she said, why do I want boons? I don't need boons. No, I want to give them to you. She said, okay, I'll take a rain check. Meaning later on, when I need, I will ask. Spurred by her nanny, she had one nanny. Since babyhood, this lady had taken care of her, and she followed her even after she was grown and was going to be married to Dasharatha. She followed her there also. So egged on by the nanny, she who was very happy at Rama's coronation preparations. She oversaw all the preparations. She was very happy. And then egged by the nanny, who said, this is not your child that is getting coronated. It is Kaushalya's child. Kaushalya will be the queen mother, not you. And so saying, she came under the spell of this monster called jealousy. And then 1 minute, Dasharatha leaves her, choosing a sari and what is matching jewelry along with the sari, and another minute, she is in the anger management room. Oh, really? Yes, they had one room like that. Kopa Bhavanam, anger room. It was made of some transparent material so that if they were hurting themselves, you could go and intervene. Otherwise, it was just a place where they could have some kind of a catharsis of their emotions, undisturbed by everybody. So she entered this anger management room, was tearing her hair out in clumps, and was, upset, angry and wild. Dasharatha was puzzled. What happened? I want the boons now. Okay, fine, no problem. Why do you have to get yourself in this state? You are tearing off your clothes, literally. Come out, let's talk. What are the boons you want? I want my son, Bharata, to be the future king. And then I want your son, Rama, to be what? Sent to the forest for 14 years. In those days, sending somebody to the forest for 14 days or even 14 hours was a death sentence. Because, the lions and the tigers were praying, putting their paws together. When will anybody have some forest curse? Because that is how they got their lunch. Lunch is that is what is called room service for them. They don't have to go out and kill. This is the people are delivering themselves unto them. It was like that kind of death sentence, to talk of 14 years. She knew that if Rama was there, he was so beloved, Ayodhya would not be able to forgive and forgive her. And they would never accept Bharata as the king. That's why Rama had to be put away. And then the first boon, Bharata making the king, Dasharatha had no problem because Bharata was eminently qualified to be the king. But he said, please withdraw your second wish. Please do not send Rama to the forest. If you send him to the forest, I will die of a broken heart. And that's exactly what happens. Please don't do that. And she says, no, I have to have this. You see, the thing is, in those days, what was it? It was not a democracy. There is no Supreme Court. There is no judicial branch. There is no executive branch. There is no legislature, parliament. Nothing is there. He was the parliament. He was the judiciary. He was the executive branch. It's monarchy. All he could have said was what? Get up, get dressed, lady. What boons are you talking about? I don't know any boons. He could have just done that. And Ramayana would have been the shortest itihasa in history. Everybody lived happily ever after. But he couldn't bring himself to say that. Even though the boons were given in private, there were no witnesses. He could have easily lied and said, okay, I'll give you tomorrow. Yeah, come now. And tomorrow, what boons? He could have said that. But no, this is what it was in the olden times. In the olden times, this Satyavrata was something which everybody did. What came out of the mouth had to be honored. Because that is what is the truth. No, I didn't mean to say that. No, but you said that. So that becomes the truth. So that's how we have these two itihasas, these two historical mythological works. One is what? Mahabharata. Also begins with a promise. and then what is the other one? Ramayana. Again begins with a promise. So the given word was just like that. Even in Mahabharata, Arjuna brings the Draupadi, Mom, look what I got. Whatever it is, share it with your brothers. How many times have I told you? Oops. Then she says, but it has come out, and then because there was no discrepancy in the ancient times between the thinking and the speech and the action, they were all in congruence. It's a great vrata to have. So how long should you have this vrata? Because when you see that you have become what? Satya Sankalpa. That is what it is. You have become Satya Sankalpa. Satya Sankalpa means whatever you think starts to happen. And that is what I think you are asking. Let me just make sure. Yeah, when will our saying come true? Yeah, so that is what it is. It's a lifelong thing. It's not that I will speak the truth for 1 year, okay? Next year, watch out. So, no. So, whatever, all these vratas are for lifelong because they become you. Earlier days, old people used to offer tea and food to their pitris before consuming. Is it good to do that? Of course it is good to do that. Please do that. No problem at all. Explain to me like I'm 5. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, this group is very creative in how they write. All right, explain to me like I'm 5 how the 42nd verse of chapter 3 is a Mahavakya. Gita book, anyone? That was a long time ago. Indriyani, 42nd verse, is that what you said? Yeah. Indriyani parani ahuhu, indriyebhyah param manah, manasastu para buddhi, yo buddhehe paratastu saha. So, we go from the gross to the subtle. We go from the gross to the subtle. What is gross? Indriyani, sense organs. Sense organs actually belong to the subtle body, but here we are going from subtler to subtlest. So, when we talk of subtler to subtlest, then what happens? That which is subtler is grosser than the subtlest. So, Indriyani parani ahuhu. Indriyani parani ahuhu. Para means greater than. So, the sense organs are greater than what? The body. Compared to the body, the sense organs are what? More subtle, which means what? More pervasive. We have to understand this. More subtle means more pervasive. And then indriyebhyah, greater than the sense organs, is what? Manaha, param. So the mind. Then manasastu para buddhihi. Manasastu para buddhihi. Because the mind is still having some kind of a doubt. It's a place where doubt resides, and so the buddhi, which is of the nature of what? Which is of the nature of sankalpa, not just vikalpa. Nishchaya, not just vichikitsa. Vichikitsa, doubt. Nishchaya, what is that? This discernment and sticking to the judgment of whatever that judgment has been ascertained. This is what I am going to do. Okay, and then yo buddhehe paratah tu saha. So the one who is superior, greater, paratah, buddhehe paratah, is what? Is the Atma. So now, why is it a Mahavakya? We can say that the Bhashya will explain even more. And does this have Bhashya? No, okay. So, so then we have to see this. We have to see that what is the indweller. What is the indwelling? All of this is what? Aham, I. Okay? So, and what is it that's superior to everything else? That consciousness. And that consciousness, how do I relate to? I can't relate to that consciousness as consciousness. Why? Because it cannot be objectified. So therefore, how do I relate to that consciousness? As that very Ishvara, which is in and through the Indriyas, the Manaha, the Buddhi, etc. It is in the same way the Mahavakya, just like Shrotrasya Shrotram, Manaso Manoyat, Vachoha Vacham, Sa Upranasya Pranaha, Chakshushash Chakshuhu is a Mahavakya. That is also a Mahavakya. This is also the same exact thing it is conveying, and that is why it is a Mahavakya. Okay? Yeah. Wherever you see that oneness. Okay? And then next one. Today in the 59th verse of the Panchadashi, we arrived at the conclusion that the fruits of Samadhi are due to Jnana. That doesn't seem to appear in the verse. How did we get the conclusion? From a hermeneutical point of view, correct. The verse doesn't say that, because what Panchadashikara is trying to do is trying to give the he gives the Vedantic Samadhi as well when he talks about Samadhi as the fruit of, he says that earlier, not in the 59th verse, but somewhere earlier, he says that after Tabhyam Nirvichikitse, Tabhyam, when the Vichikitsa has gone, Tabhyam means Shravana Mananabhyam, after the Shravanam and Mananam, in the 54th verse. So then when the heart is established in the knowledge, so much so that you don't need to go into Samadhi. Everything is a Samadhi. Dehabhimane galite vijñate paramatmani yatra yatra mano yati tatra tatra samadhayah. This is Drigdrishya Viveka. Deha abhimane galite. That's exactly what 54th verse is saying. When the identification with the body has melted off. And then, when does that happen? Vijñate paramatmani. When Bhagavan is known. How? As the truth of myself. Then, wherever the mind goes, instantly the subject-object resolution spontaneously takes place without having to close the eyes, without having to breathe a certain way, without having to do anything. With open eyes, with total awareness, there is subject-object cessation. Difference of the subject and object cessation is there right here, right now, because you are not different from any object. The subject are not different from any object. The subject-object difference is seen because of the ajnanam. When there is jnanam, the subject-object difference, it's not that it's not seen, but it does not matter. Everywhere there is a samadhi, so it's samadhi, samadhi, samadhi all the way. So we get the Vedanta understanding of samadhi in verse 54. So he doesn't say you have to just, breathe in a certain way or you have to close your eyes and sit. He says, Tabhyam, Shravanamananabhyam, Nirvichikitse Arthe. When there is an understanding in the heart free of doubt, Chetasaha, and then when it is Sthapita means it is here to stay, it's not going anywhere. Then Ekatanatvam. Ekatanatvam means there is only one particular focus. There is the whole mind has fallen back on itself because it's not seeking anything. So all that is there is consciousness, and then that is called Nididhyasana. So this was the Vedantic understanding, and then the 55 also says this, that all that is there is what? Dhyeya Vastu, which is consciousness. The role of meditator, the role of that which is the object of meditation, and the role of the mantra or whatever one is using, mantra or words of the Upanishad, they all fall away. Dhyatru dhyane parityajya. All that is there is one stream of consciousness. Now, after this, what does he do? He goes to the yoga school of philosophy, their definition of samadhi. Their definition of samadhi is more of wanting this experience, because there is no shravanam there. There is a whole host of disciplines, yama, niyama, etc., but there is not this Shravanam. The Shravanam is only of the Yoga Sutras, and the Yoga Sutras are very pakka in terms of what they say, but then there is not that emphasis on Shravanam that we have. And so therefore the experience of samadhi becomes a link to seeing this subject-object difference is not there. For us, this knowledge itself is telling us that the subject-object difference is not there. Because of mithya, it has been erased. So that's all it is. 59th verse, what was that? Anadau iha samsare sanchitaha karma kotayah. 59th verse, that the fruits of samadhi, yes. Anena vilayam yanti. You are talking of the second line. Anena means what? Anena jnanena. So samadhi is what? An experience. An experience also later on, what do we have to say? We have to say, what does this mean? What does this mean? So then the knowledge born of this samadhi will tell us that there is no vikalpa, there is no division, all this is only one. That is what it will tell us. So anena, this is the fruit of this knowledge, vilayam yanti. So all the karmas go, and I said we haven't done fully verse 59. Tomorrow we will do that. Okay, there will be lots of Panchadashi from now on. So then, why Vedanta is the antibiotic for today's generation? It need not be the antibiotic. Why should it be? Everybody doesn't need it, and everybody cannot understand it also. It need not be the antibiotic, because it is only for people who say maybe it's a probiotic. We don't know. That's also very good. We hear. So maybe it's a prebiotic or a probiotic. So antibiotic means that there is already something problem, and then we are trying to fix it. But probiotic, prebiotic, it could be anything. So for today's generation needs Vedanta. And then what? Yesterday's generation did not need Vedanta. They also needed Vedanta. And what about day before yesterday's generation? They also needed Vedanta. Wherever there is fear, wherever there is sorrow, wherever there is some kind of a feeling, I am limited, finite, and I am away from everybody else, I am alienated from God, all these thoughts, wherever they may occur, in whichever head they may occur, in whichever part of the world that person is, that person needs Vedanta. That way everybody, 8.1 billion people in the world need Vedanta, no problem, and have always needed Vedanta. How many will come? That is what. They will come according to their readiness. Please guide how to follow Vedanta teaching in daily life in the material world. Yeah. Smile when you don't want to. Yes. It's a shortcut. Really. It's a hack. Yeah. You feel like frowning, you feel like, yeah. And then, even when you don't want to smile, smile. That itself is Vedanta in daily life. Really, really is. And then if you have a falling out with someone, what Pujya Swamiji used to do was to make the person who had the falling out and who took the complaint to Pujya Swamiji, give the person with whom the falling out had occurred one rose. Yeah. When? Rose, every day. Yeah. 48 days you have to give this person a rose. What? I don't like them. Doesn't matter, give. First day, how will they give the rose? Take. I'm giving it only because Guru said. Yeah. Take. Throw. Second day also same. Third day also same. Fourth day, let's see the gloating expression on this other person's face. Let's see. So you make eye contact and then all the pain, all the thing is over. So like this, so what does that teach us? That exercise teaches us to be accommodative. So we are cheerful and accommodative. That's basically Vedanta in daily life. Many, many things we can say, but let us see. Oh, this is like Hanumanji's tail. Okay. Yeah. But today is the weekend. Okay. Yeah, I'll finish it. Yeah. So, can you please explain not karya karma, karya karana sanghatat. We have to put a ta there. Yeah, bhinnaha, abhinnaha concept. That Sakshat Swamiji was talking about yesterday. Okay. So, karya means body. Karya means what? Effect. Body is the effect of what? Karma. Karya. Karana means all the, including antahkarana, all the 17 components of the subtle body. Sanghata, that which is put together. So now if I build a house and then everybody is curious, oh, you're going to live here? No. You're going to give it for rent? It's an investment? No. So you're going to give it to a friend and make them live here? No. What are you going to do with it when it's complete? I'm just going to keep it locked up. Why did you build the house? For the sake of the house. Does anybody do that? No. So the argument is called the Samhata argument. Samhata and Asamhata. Samhata, put together. Asamhata, never put together. So that which is put together is for something else. Number one. It's not for itself. So, it's for the purpose of something else. The house, if I build, it is for me to do griha pravesha, enter and live in it. So, this is how it is. So, this is put together. And that which is put together is insentient or sentient? Insentient. That which is put together is what? Insentient. It's not sentient. And for the sake of which it is put together is sentient. Even if you take a nest which the bird builds, or an ant hill, the ant is sentient, the hill is insentient. It chews up the earth and puts it like that. Very beautiful it is. And so that's the second thing. And that which is not put together is what? Consciousness. That's the only thing in the whole universe is not put together, and this consciousness, being all pervasive, lives in many bodies, many minds, in all the bodies, all the minds, without feeling trapped and without undergoing any change, as though abides in every body without becoming any one thing. Okay? Yeah. Then, this one is 3. Okay. How many Prakarana Granthas are traditionally studied, and is there a recommended sequence or a flow? Yes, how many means what? Maybe 8, 10, I would say. And yes, there is a flow. We start with Tattva Bodha and end with Dakshinamurti Stotram. So you can keep listening. There are so many commentaries and translations. Which authentic commentary? Jnaneshwari. Yeah, Jnaneshwari is worth studying. Yes, Jnaneshwari is written by a saint, and it is a wonderful commentary. It is worth studying. And Adi Shankara, stick to Adi Shankara. Don't go anywhere else. Jnaneshwari is an exception. You can study that. All the knowledge we receive from the scriptures and gurus comes freely as grace. If a student later shares this knowledge by teaching in yoga schools and earns money through it, is that considered good karma and aligned with dharma? Don't charge for the knowledge, charge extra for the yoga. There. Increase the price of the yoga, don't charge for the knowledge. Keep it free. Yeah. Then, what else? One or two more were there. Only one more. How did that happen? That was quick. Okay. Then you mentioned in a recent meditation a japa practice for 48 minutes a day for 48 days. Could you explain it in more detail? Yeah, the number 48 is a magic number. It's got something there. 48 is a mandala. Okay. Because I think numerologically, it has a certain significance, because if you make squares, or if you make a square of 48 squares like this, then it is divisible in many different ways or something like that, I forgot. And then so therefore it is considered auspicious. It is considered a mandala for completion and success, because every number has its own energetics. So 48 is the energetic of conquest, of siddhi, accomplishment. So 48 minutes per day, if you meditate using any mantra and sit for 48 days, for 48 minutes per day, then what will happen? You will get what is called japa siddhi. You will accomplish that japa. Then you can do Purascharana for that mantra. Purascharana means chanting it as many times as there are syllables. Om Namah Shivaya. Just Namah Shivaya, Panchakshari. Om is added. So, but we can take that also. 6 syllables, let us say, along with Om. Each one has to be chanted, what? 100,000 times. So, then the whole mantra is chanted 600,000 times. And one mala is what? Only 100. No, 108. The 8 is, you will be distracted. That's why the 8 is there. One mala you have to count as only 100. So do the math. 600,000 times. And if you are doing one mala every day, how many days it will take? Yeah, 4 or 5 years. All right. Yeah. If you do 2 malas every day, it will take a little shorter. But then when you accomplish that, then that mantra is with you, and then you have the power to give that mantra to another person so that it will be successful for them. So when you receive a mantra, the Guru has been practicing those mantras. which they are giving to you. So it comes with, like when you buy a phone, it comes with a little charge, because it comes with enough charge so that you can set it up for yourself. After that, you have to charge it. Similarly, the mantra also has to be potentized, and the way it is potentized is by chanting it. Otherwise, the charge of the mantra received from the Guru will be what? Will run out. And then if you are not practicing it, the live mantra will become a dead mantra. So therefore, that is what we said, 48 days, 48 minutes. Don't cheat and say 48 seconds per day. Yeah, no, 48 minutes. All right. Yeah. Fantastic. Done. Finish the stack. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet, asato ma tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityor ma amritam gamaya. Om purnamadav purnamidam purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो